Whose idea was it to film outside? It's -1.
Righty, backup mic coming in. Oh, it's wet.
Happy 2025.
Happy 2025.
This is actually going to be my mantra for 2025. It reads positivity. So our child, our 1-year-old, won't sleep longer than 3 hours at night. Who cares? Positivity. We've got nowhere to live. So what?
Positivity, right?
Positivity. Eye bags and wrinkles for days.
No.
Doesn't matter. Positivity.
Cheers.
Merry Christmas!
Lots of it.
Right, here we go, the first vlog of 2025.
I think this year we might be putting a little bit more effort in than last year. We neglected it a little bit. I think it's fair to say.
Definitely fair to say we neglected YouTube last year.
But we've got lots planned this year. That's going to come in a different video. We're going to sort of lay out what we want to do this year.
Our channel's very different now to what it started out as. It's not the two of us anymore. It's not just Jamie and Megan. It's the kids as well. We are going to be moving, starting a new chapter in our lives. So it seems fitting to maybe rebrand the channel a bit to fit with our lives moving forward.
Yeah. We would obviously, we've always said this, love to do more music, but it actually is basically just our lives, and we're putting, updating you on what we're doing.
But one thing is for certain, this year the channel is going to be a lot about our new house.
Yes.
We're hoping
Next few weeks.
we're going to have the keys.
I think so. So just to recap on the house, we found the house sometime in August, around the 18th of August. We then put in some offers, we then decided on getting some fields, all of that sort of back and forth. Our offer was accepted somewhere around the 13th of September. And now it's January. What's been happening all this time?
Back and forth between the solicitors. No delays our end, but these things take time. Like Jamie said, we ended up purchasing some fields along with the house, so the sale is a little more complicated than just buying a house.
And I think we're people that just want things done instantly.
So it has been a while since the 13th of September, since our offer was accepted, but we are hoping that we can take you on a little tour of our dream home next month.
Hopefully.
Is that ambitious? Do you think we can do it?
Well, as soon as we get the keys and it all goes through, we will be there. We will show you what we have purchased and what we plan to do with it, because it's not a small feat.
1st of January came around, it was the new year, and all of a sudden we realised, crikey, we have got to make some decisions, and fast, because we will probably be moving into the area this summer, so July, August time, which doesn't give us any time whatsoever to figure out where we are going to live, because the house that we are buying is not livable.
No. At the moment, we want to do quite a lot of work to it. The main issue is that Rupert starts school in September in the Stamford area. And obviously, we want to be there. Well, we have to be there. It's an hour away. The school from here is an hour away, so that's not possible. We can't have 2 hours in the car every day for Rupert. So we need to get into the area, and we don't know what to do.
So we sat in bed last night and we started to plan what we are going to do over the next 6 months to figure out a living situation, because
I'm not sure it's what we're going to do. It's like what we could do.
What
What are
could
the
do.
options? Because there's not many.
Yeah, no, there aren't many options. And like we said, the house is not livable, but we have decided that ideally we will live on site.
Doing renovations to a house, being on site will massively help reduce costs. We're going to try and do as much as possible.
The first thing we considered was renting. That's the easiest option, but it's also the most expensive. And when
It's just money down the drain.
It really is money down the drain. You're just throwing it away. We had found a little cottage that we were quite interested in, a little 3-bed cottage, very close to sort of Rupert's school, so it would have been ideal. We haven't ruled it out entirely.
We just don't know the price. We just don't know how much it's going to cost us. And I think also we only have one car at the moment, so being off-site is going to be really tricky. But
yes.
That is still on the cards. What was the other one?
The second thing on the list was a static caravan. Now, you know some people in the area.
We've got a family friend who has a company that sells caravans. They have caravan sites, so they have lots of 2 beds. There are some 3 beds. So we thought we'll go and have a look around and see what you can get for your money. So we did have a look around them. They're very small.
But we're also thinking we're probably, whatever we decide to do, we're going to need to live in it for a minimum of 6 months, we think, an absolute minimum. I think it's going to be more like 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
So
And it'll be over winter.
it'll be over winter, so it can't be cold, and it also can't be a shoebox. I mean, look at the size of this one. We also have 2 young kids who are running around. They need a bit of space. So we went to go and see these caravans, and they are so small. And for the price tag, I mean, you're looking at anything between starting for like a really old one for £30,000, all the way up to say £150,000 for a static caravan.
It's a better option than renting, I think.
We walked into these caravans and it was like, there's just no space for any storage. The living room is absolutely minuscule. You'd fit one like sofa in like this, and then the kitchen is there right in front of you. So I think we quickly realised that a static caravan or a mobile home, again, isn't really going to work for us. But then, last night, we had a bit of a brainwave thanks to another YouTube channel called The Restoration Couple. And we watched one of their videos where they build, I call it a log cabin, but Jamie has corrected me.
It's like a really fancy, posh workshop. I would say it's like a really well-built, wooden-framed building.
It's like a wood chalet?
Well, let's go with
Can we
that.
go with chalet instead of workshop?
Yeah. So they have built a really nice chalet from scratch, and they actually built it on basically chassis of static caravans, because we've kind of skipped over a big part of this, that wherever we stay or wherever the accommodation is on site has to be temporary.
Yeah.
It has to be able to be moved because of planning issues and only having one dwelling on the site. It needs to be movable. So we're thinking, they thought, put them on static caravan chassis, build it on there in 2 parts, bolt it together, and actually they've done a really, really good job. Their videos, if you're into renovation stuff, go and check them out, because we're getting a lot of inspiration from them.
Yeah. If, like me, you've never heard of the word chassis before, it's essentially a metal frame, a steel frame with wheels.
That it sits on.
So
you could wheel it around.
But the beauty of doing something like that is that we can build it from, we can build it from scratch.
Megan turned around yesterday after we watched all this and she was like, right, well, you can build one of them then.
You built Poppy's birthday house in a week. So how different is it building us a house?
Whilst I was lying in bed last night, Megan had already gone to sleep, and I was on this forum, like under the duvet, reading more and more stuff. Yeah, I was there pretty much every night. I found a really good renovation forum. Anyway, I was thinking...
Are you sure it was a renovation forum?
Yeah, it was. I built in the factory a wooden wall, like basically a big shed. And I was thinking, well, it's pretty much that, just bigger.
With insulation.
With electrics and plumbing and, but, you know, that's what YouTube's for. You learn a lot.
But the more we sort of spoke about it and discussed the practicalities of doing something like that, the more we realised it could be our only option. And another positive is that Jamie could start building it here in Norfolk. We're very lucky we have the space in a field over there to start building it and then transport it to where we need to be. So we're not going to delay our sort of timeline any longer.
Especially when the weather gets nicer. We don't have a cover, but you know, they built it outside, so I'm sure we can. But yeah, as you said, definitely can start it here, apart from we wouldn't be able to get it off the land very easily. But again, we'll worry about that another time. We'll
worry about it another time, but we are just getting a little bit impatient now. We really do want to get going. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances and things that were totally out of our control, we no longer have childcare for Poppy. She was supposed to start in childcare just a couple days a week from January. That is now not happening, so it's delayed my plans getting back to work and figuring out what I want to do this year personally, having my personal goals. So yeah, Poppy is staying put with me for the next few months, and then we're kind of like, then we'll be moving in the summer, and then she's already got a place somewhere else starting next year. So we've kind of just got to get through this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll advertise for some help.
I think we might be looking for nannies at some point in the Stamford area.
Or some nannies in Norfolk to help me around the house 2 days, 2 days a week. If you are a nanny, we're not looking just yet, but come the summer, from sort of July, August time until January, we definitely will be. So that's kind of the house update. We should hear back from the council next week. So we have had to put in a series of planning applications.
Well, pre-planning applications.
Pre-planning
It's probably
applications.
different across the world, but in the UK, you put a planning application in to, obviously the council basically stop you from doing certain things. There's a step before that, which is pre-planning, which is kind of just starting conversations saying, do you think you would allow this to happen? Do you think we would be able to do this? So it's kind of a conversation sort of off the book, so no one else knows about it. And then once you get that feedback, you then go and get proper planning, which again takes longer to, well, do the plans from the architects, but also it takes them another, 6 to 8 weeks for the council to say yes or no. And at that point, and they say yes, then you can start building.
So we did a
or
rough
renovating.
We did a rough timeline in bed last night and realised that if there were absolutely no delays, in an ideal situation, we might be able to start on the house in May. But this is the UK, so anything can happen. It could take much, much longer than that, which is why we do need a proper living plan for like 12 months. I don't think we can look
We've got
at
to
it
plan
and
it for
think,
like 12 to 18.
yeah, absolutely.
But hope that it's not.
I don't mind living in a shoebox, but a warm, practical shoebox.
You didn't say that last night though, so maybe I can't build it. I can build a shed.
A tiny bit of kitchen space and somewhere to sit would be nice.
But I think what would be nice as well, we need to get certain things done like solar panels, batteries, because we want this whole property to be like really sustainable. This is why we got land, because we want to be able to grow our own produce that we would be eating.
Yes, so I bought Jamie a lovely book for Christmas all about managing a homestead.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it's called like a small holding or a homestead. A mini farm. I like that. That's exactly
cool,
what this house is going to be. It's going to be a mini farm, and it's all about how to look after your own chickens, what vegetables and plants to grow at different times of the year. A book about having a house that runs itself.
Yeah. I think we've also, you more so than me, but have really got into nutrition recently and realised how much rubbish is in our food. So being able to cook our own, grow our own would be amazing. And that's why, just going on for the Christmas presents, we got a KitchenAid, which is like a mixer, because I want to do my own bread. Again, you look through some of the bread that you buy and it doesn't go off for weeks and you're like, well, that can't be right. Basically, we want to be off-grid, do we? Completely self-sufficient.
I don't think we'll get to being 100% off-grid.
But that's in that direction. So if you want to see how to do it or not to do it or just follow the journey, stick with us.
And I feel like, especially with YouTube now, we've kind of been in a bit of a lull period whereby, you know, where we don't have our own house yet. We've had, you know, really, really young kids and it's been hard to juggle everything. But
We haven't had a real focus.
no, but I think the focus is back. And I think that's how we want the channel to look for the next few years. And, you know, we do this for us. I mean, it's amazing that people are still watching 5 years later. But we do it for us.
Yeah.
And it's so lovely to look back at the videos and
I think documenting this process, because we're all excited for it now.
yeah.
And I feel as though in like a year's time, we'll probably be sitting on this same seat, hopefully at the actual property.
Yeah.
Going, oh. And then a few
What
years
have we
later,
done?
we'll be hoping, so future Megan and Jamie, hopefully we've done the right thing.
Should we do a very quick sort of family update?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot to report on that front.
Not much on Poppy's side, she still doesn't sleep.
We're actually back. It's now the same as sort of the newborn period. She's up 4 or 5 times in the night. She's really going through something. She's been full of a cough and a cold since October. It's just one after the other,
Yeah.
after the other.
Teeth are coming through as well, it must be that.
I am trying to wean her off breastfeeding. So I breastfed Rupert until he was 20 months old. Poppy is approaching 14 months. She's not quite 14 months yet. But I have had enough. I'm it's exhausting, and she's obviously much bigger now. She's more capable. She has her own mind. She's starting to say a few words. Ball, teddy. She loves daddy. In fact, I just took her to bed and she just went, night, night, dada. And I was like, that's her first 2-word sentence. It was amazing. But I have had enough of being pulled and scratched and just the constant need to be on me and wanting, you know, to feed all through the day and all through the night.
Get your life back. The kids have been our
Yeah.
priority for many years, and they still are, obviously. But it'd be nice to get a bit of yourself back.
So I've decided to tackle it by putting plasters over my you-know-whats.
It worked
which
with
is
Rupert.
how I did it with Rupert. But he was a bit older, so he could physically see that, oh, you know, Mummy's got owies. They don't work anymore. Whereas Poppy's been pointing at them and like scratching them. She just thinks it's hilarious. And I can't stop entirely because I still have a lot of milk. So I need to do it gradually for my own well-being as well. I need to sort of phase it out. So bless her, it's a little bit confusing at the moment. 1 minute I'm like, oh no, there's nothing there. And the next minute I'm like, yeah, okay, you can have some. So it's probably the worst approach.
Doing it, but...
It's terrible idea. But we can only try our best, and you know, hopefully over the next few weeks it will get better. But
Can't get worse.
we've had enough. We're smiling through this video, but behind the scenes it really has been a horrendously tough 14 months.
But that was 2024. It's now
Yeah.
2025, and it's
Yeah.
all about positivity.
Positivity.
Put it out there and it will happen.
Absolutely. But I think that's kind of everything that we wanted to
I think so,
say
yeah.
today. Just a bit of a look forward to the next 12 months. Some people have just turned up to work in the garden, and now we're all really embarrassed about vlogging. Shall we just whisper into it goodbye?
Yeah, thank you all so much for watching.
Thank you. We're the worst YouTubers. We can't even vlog in our own back garden for being embarrassed.
See you in the next one.
Bye.